Hello, everyone. It's Ari with Awkwardly Zen and Awkwardly Psychic. And I just am so excited today to introduce you to my good friend, Douglas Pratt. Douglas and I met, gosh, I don't know, about 2 years ago, would you say,
Mhm.
Douglas? And we have gone through all sorts of interesting things on our spiritual paths, and lots of times those cross over. And this is one of those times. So I'm so excited for that. Douglas has just released his first book, right, Douglas? Your first one?
First book, very
All
first one.
right. Very exciting. And this is the book right here. It is called Greetings, Earth, a handbook about the Galactic Federation and its history with humanity. So, if that in itself doesn't pique your interest, I don't know what to say to you. So, basically, Douglas, if you would just quickly tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll get into the book.
Well, I have a history of being a psychotherapist for the last 40 years. And what's happened is my focus of my work has shifted. I no longer do traditional psychotherapy. I now work with folks on spiritual path, spiritual connection, path, purpose, and that's where my focus is with my actual private practice.
Which I can say as someone who has participated in some of your private practice, I cannot recommend you enough. Just still to this day, one of my favorite interactions with a practitioner that I've ever had. So I'm so grateful for that. Now, tell us how you ended up writing a book that is, I mean, it's channeled from Interstellars, correct?
It most certainly is.
All right.
Basically, about, I'd say 10 years ago, I was working with a colleague of mine, Laurie Hewitt, and we were doing sessions together. And she's clairaudient. She was bringing in spirit and loved ones who had passed over, that sort of things, beings of light. And out of nowhere, this being showed up and introduced himself as Galador and said, "I'm an Arcturian from the Galactic Federation." It's like, okay, sure. So at that point, it had no meaning.
Right.
And then he would pop up intermittently after that in our sessions and just say hello. And then at some point it transitioned. And I began to interact with Galador independently on my own. Part of it is I was able to hear him in my head
Hmm.
and go ahead and get communication from him at that way.
Okay.
So that's how that kind of transpired. And then it's like, yes, and now how did that move into being a book? I interacted with him for a long time. He retired. A new being came forward. His name is Toth, and Toth is a Pleiadian, and he became my mentor. And at one point, recently, truly, this year, 2023, he says, "Oh, and you're going to write a book about the Federation." And
Oh,
I
well.
said, "Oh, yeah, piece of cake." So, what fortunately, they quickly told me, "You're not doing it by yourself," and that was a relief. And then Galador showed up and said, "I'm going to be working with you about the book," and that's how that all began to kind of move forward.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I've been able to interact with you for the last couple years and experience some of these channeling sessions and get to ask my own questions, which has been very helpful for me. And when you're talking about you use the word fantastical all the time, and I absolutely love it. But when you're talking about these ideas that are bigger than us here, it can be kind of hard to swallow at first. So can you just give us real quickly just an idea of what was it that made you cross over into I've got to take this seriously. Like I'm truly getting these bits of information.
They did it in iterations and steps with me, and that makes it easier. And you don't quite track where you're moving with it. They do, but you don't, because they
Right.
keep you very much in the here and now. But I would use the word fantastical because here I am communicating with these interstellar beings from the Galactic Federation. It's like, say what?
Right.
Right. I mean, seriously. And they had me interacting with other interstellars. I was being introduced to different ones. And this is all in the non-physical. I'm sitting in my office, the one that I'm in right now, and closing my eyes and heading off to the
Right.
Federation and wherever they would take me.
Yeah. You know, the thing I think that has been so interesting to me, and honestly, I'll say fun, because this is all a big adventure as far as I'm concerned. But as I am learning more about what you're saying, it's correlating with what so many other people are saying out there. So you're not the only one getting these messages. And I think that that in itself is really amazing. I mean, people who we've never met, we've never come in contact with, are getting similar messages and similar things. And so I'm so excited to see how all of those come together. Now, with your book here, you can get it on Amazon.com, and we're going to put the link down in the comments or the description or whatever you do on YouTube. I'm so bad at all of this. And then we're going to have that there. But also, we have a book launch coming up. So today, when we're recording this, is July 6th, 2023. On July 22nd, I'm going to put this link down in the description as well. At 10 a.m. Mountain Time, we're going to do a book launch on Awkwardly Zen on our meetup. And so at that book launch, Douglas, I'm gonna say what we're doing because I'm begging Douglas to do this for us. But both Douglas and Lori, who have both channeled for the book, are going to be available to answer some questions and talk a little bit more about how this all came about. And also, Douglas, I think you're planning on doing a little bit of a reading from the book. Is that right?
Sure, I'll pick some little interesting sections of fantasticalness to keep people get their interest peaked, because it's the book itself. I mean, I've dealt with it so much. It does feel normative, but in truth, it is quite the whole thing is fantastical.
Yeah, but I think we're becoming more and more understanding of the fantastical. At least I know the people I'm interacting with are. And so I'm so excited for people to come with an open mind and to read this book with an open mind, because I think that it's really helpful to see how there's been interaction with
Mhm.
interstellars for a long time, and kind of what might be coming. So I really appreciate the fact that you put this book out there. Again, it's Greetings Earth, a handbook about the Galactic Federation and its history with humanity. And we'll put that down in the comments as well, or in the description. Douglas, thank you so much for your time today, and I am so excited to move forward with this and to see how many people really resonate with your book and can use it to feel more comfortable with our interactions with the interstellars.
Yes, that would be my fondest hope. It will become a resource for folks.
Yeah, I think it will. I think it will. So thank you all so much for being here today, and we'll see you next time.
All right, thank you for having me.